So apparently today, this Tetsuya Nomura fella, I don't know if you've heard of him, was a part of the Final Fantasy VII First Soldier half anniversary stream. Yeah, half a birthday. I think that's what they're doing. And during the stream, Nomura basically just dangled the carrot for every single Final Fantasy VII Remake fan and said, next month we will provide information on the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. And we all know what that could mean. In fairness, it could mean numerous things. I mean, the first thing it definitely means is that there seems like there's going to be some sort of an event surrounding the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary. It is looking like they're going to do something, some sort of online thing. Potentially it could be part of Summer Game Fest, because I know Square Enix are probably going to have a presence there. They did last year, so that's possible. But we also know Square Enix like to put their own events on, so probably going to be an FF7 event. And if it does turn out to be an event that just purely surrounds the Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary, then, we can realistically expect to get something there. Don't know what that something will be, but something. And like I say, it could also end up being like part of a Square Enix show at some other event like Summer Game Fest. There are possibilities, but we know there's something. Now, the question is, what could we get in this event about future titles? Now, the first thing, and probably the most obvious thing that we're probably going to get some information about, is going to be Ever Crisis. We recently got confirmation that it's going to be out by September. That's the target that they're shooting for, the company that are developing it. There was a marketing thing. I'll flash it up on the screen now. A few people covered it. But essentially, we should be getting Ever Crisis before the end of September. So this would be a prime opportunity to, put some information out there, show us a little bit more about what we're going to get, give us some details maybe on what chapters we're going to get first. Because each of these games, I'm assuming, is going to be broken up into chapters. And we're not going to get all of the chapters in one go. So it'd be interesting to see what they give us first, because that could inform a lot of things about where Remake's going, possibly. They're going to want us to have certain things fresh in our mind for certain parts of Remake. I'll guarantee it. So we could see a lot of something pops up in Ever Crisis and then pops up in Remake. The thing that relates to it pops up in Remake. That's something to keep an eye out for. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what chapters we do actually get. But I'm pretty certain we should get some news on Ever Crisis at the very least at this event. Reaching a little bit further, there is also the possibility of Remake Part 2 news. It's been a few years now. They've put a bit of work into it. We've seen all the mocap actors and everything on Twitter. They've been filming, they've stopped filming, they've started doing bits again. So, there's a reasonable amount of belief that Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 isn't a million miles away from being completed. It's probably, I'm not saying it's going to be out in 6 months or anything like that, but, there's probably like a year and a half away, something like that. So it would be the perfect opportunity to start building that hype. And if it's a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary event, you've got to talk about remake in some capacity, right? But people shouldn't go getting mega excited and expecting Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 news. It's possible we just get a progress update. They might be like, yep, we're up to this point, we've been doing this, we've been doing that, we can't wait for you to see it. That might be it. That might be all we get. Now the next one is a bit of a weird one. A few months ago, well, it's about a year ago now, I think, I covered a rumour about a potential Final Fantasy VII Netflix show, like an anime or a live action show or something like that. I think the rumour itself was specifically it was live action at that point. But, this is also a possibility. It's the 25th anniversary this year. Square Enix are clearly saying that they want to do things. They've said there are other side projects around Final Fantasy VII that, they're going to be revealing to us. And some sort of anime or live action show, depending on how it's done, could be good, it could be awful. But you got to give them the chance to do it. And it's possible, there was a big rumour about it. There was the rumour about the FF9 children's show as well at the same time. They both kind of coincided with each other. So I wouldn't rule it out completely. I wouldn't go into it expecting, they're going to announce a TV show. I would not go into this expecting that. But it's possible that we might get something. So I'd keep an eye out on it. And that's all the Final Fantasy VII stuff that we should get. But depending on what form this takes, if it's just a Final Fantasy VII 25th anniversary show, that'll be the end of it, I reckon. If it's part of Square Enix's presence at another event, then there's the possibility that we get a 16 update, because we are on the brink of 16 getting dropped. it's been said over and over again, you know, they're really close to, you know, they've finished most of it. They're just doing some tweaking, touching things up. I think we'll see this still by the end of the year. I genuinely feel we'll see 16 before the end of the year. So a 16 update wouldn't be completely out of the question. And then you've also got the possibility of a Forspoken update as well. That's probably bottom of the pile for most people. You know, you want the Final Fantasy news first, but Forspoken does look like a real good game. It got delayed. It's probably still going to drop back end of this year as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more about that. What do you think? Do you think we're going to get any of these things during any kind of 25th anniversary event? Do you think we're going to get Ever Crisis? Do you think we're going to get Remake 2? Do you think we might get a show? Or something along those lines? Let me know what you think in the comments. Keep an eye out on the channel because we'll be covering any of this as and when it happens. But more importantly than anything, have a great day.